Don't forget
Hey
to.
everybody, what's going on? That's great. Sorry, don't worry about it. This always happens. Hey everybody, this is the Black Manga Critic and Nakamanga. We are back for part 4, part 4, Deadman Wonderland Yu Yu Hakusho live stream discussion that we pretty much are doing until we finish both manga. All right, if you are new to this, then you don't know what's going on here. So basically, so first, if Nakamanga, if you want to, just like describe kind of what we do with these discussions.
Yeah, sure. So we had the idea to launch a new kind of discussion, I guess, to have like one person who adores the series or has already read the series, and one newbie to the series who doesn't know anything at all. And we have these discussions on live stream, arc to arc. So yeah, so for me it was Yu Yu Hakusho. I have never read Yu Yu Hakusho, and yeah, for Black Manga Critic was Deadman Wonderland, and yeah, we're already quite deep in the story. So the other streams you can see the first 3 arcs, I guess we already discussed.
All right, very nice, very nice. So again, you all know what's going on here. It's relatively straightforward, at least in terms of like the structure. But like I think the conversations are really fun because I think we both see things differently, right? And that's what's sort of great about these discussions, that we pick up on, maybe we either not necessarily pick up on different things, but I think it's just the perspectives, right? The perspectives of how we look at particular character interactions, art, things of that nature, where we feel like the story is going. I think those discussions are always really awesome. Also check out our Reborn discussions. Those are really, really cool and really, really fun.
Yeah,
I think in the future, if we want to have more people sort of come into those, and we have sort of like a just kind of general discussion where people who love Reborn manga want to just discuss that with us, then I think we're all for that. But this stream is about Deadman Wonderland and the Yu Yu Hakusho. All right. So which one are we, or do we want to start with Deadman Wonderland? Do I want to just do want to do that? I feel like we started with Yu Yu Hakusho last time.
Yeah, so no, let's go. Deadman Wonderland.
Yeah, because there's some. Whew, oh my goodness.
So let's just get it out of the way. It's one where the pace picked up a lot.
Yes.
So how overall, like it was chapter 12 for the people, chapter 12 to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you rate them overall?
I mean, so far it's the best I've seen from the manga so far. Just from I think from an emotional standpoint, I think it's the best that I've seen. That it's the best that this manga has presented, even though the manga has already presented some really, really great stuff. It's been great. It's been a great manga. But this is whenever you're reading a manga and it takes that jump and it goes from oh, this is cool, I generally enjoy it, to whoa, this is one of the best things I've ever read. You know what I mean? When it's wow, the art is phenomenal. I can't say enough about the art. I really can't. I mean, it's always phenomenal, but here it's just man, there's just so much.
It's again a step up from before. Before it was already great, but to see that it still can make huge improvements to the art, it's crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Man, that art is phenomenal. So I think there's some points where I think it just really, really picks up, and there are just little instances that I think are really, really cool that I like. I gotta think about it.
Let's just get into the recap, and we can highlight those instances.
Mm-hmm. So I guess just for a general sort of recap, basically, we understand that there were sort of two kind of opposing sort of groups. So there's the Deadmen who are, and then there's the sort of rebel group within the Deadmen who are trying to escape Deadman Wonderland, but really just try to bring it down. They're trying to bring down this entire facility. Both at from a physical standpoint, which they would love to tear it down, but also from a political standpoint where they're this thing cannot exist. We want to get rid of all of its power, its ability to cultivate dead men and keep people imprisoned and everything like that. And so basically these chapters are really sort of about that clash, I guess. So so what's happening is like one of the individuals within that rebel group is actually a traitor. You know, we sort of like, and that's really cool. Like I thought, oh, that's really interesting. I thought the twist was, it was cool. It was a really good twist, that worked. And then, generally, like, we're moving on. We learned that, the sort of anti-Deadman like group, I can't remember the call. I don't know why, but like, I'm like having like a brain freeze here. But I'm gonna call them the anti-Deadman group. But like, they have the ability to sort of like generally nullify the branches of sin through like some sort of like oxidation like technique or whatever, by using their weapons. And that's like a big thing. And Ganta has figured that out through his battle with the sort of like, you know, rock like Buddhist kind of dude, you know, like, right. And the rebel group don't believe him. So that, like, obviously, like, when you're reading that, you see that that's going to be like an issue moving forward. So we see that, and then
was it not a traitor who, like, the one who
you're right. So he alters
the traitor. Yeah, he spreads the seed about the disbelief of Ganda. No, it was some kind of that, because he noticed Ganda is kind of figuring it out. So we need to make him like not believable.
So that happened. So he alters the video to make it seem like Ganta is lying. So they generally don't believe him. So they're really just like sort of like already going into a trap. But like, it's even worse because they don't know about the anti-Deadman group ability to nullify their techniques. So then we get more about what's going on in terms. So now we learn that the what's his name, Tamaki is. So I can't remember his name, but like the you know, crazy guy with the glasses, who's super sadistic and everything like that. He's a new warden, and on top of like, you know, doing sort of these experiments and everything like that. And we know that there's like an inspection that's going on, and that inspection is basically when the rebel group wants to like get this information to that guy, to the sort of inspector that's going around checking out the facility to make sure everything's on the up and up. And that's sort of their plan. But we also learn, right? So then what happens is a big particular instance is Shiro throws the data chip that they're supposed to use to sort of like get to the inspector, like behind the door. It's a big clash, right? They have a clash. Shiro throws the chip behind the door. There's a massive explosion. I think generally as readers, we assume that the data chip was like the bomb, but Ganta doesn't understand this because like everything's happening so fast and he's not thinking straight. And he assumes that Shiro has basically thrown away their only chance for like freedom. So he he punches Shiro. So they're not friends for a little bit. But we know that they're going to be friends later on because like their friendship is very important to the manga, to the story. And so then later on, we learned that of course, the data chip was actually set up to be a bomb. So they were supposed to kill like all these Deadmen, that the rebel group that was involved, and maybe even the anti-Deadman group. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that like the plan was like to just eliminate everybody. But generally, right, the leader of the rebel group is kidnapped. He is tortured and by the sort of like rock priest dude. And we learn a lot about these characters through that. I think that was like really, really great stuff. And then Shiro undergoes training, right? So like the first sort of mission is kind of like a failure. And so they decide like, okay, we're gonna the rebel group decides, okay, we're gonna like garner some help. We're gonna try this again because we want to be free. So they and they also want to save their leader. So basically, they come up with another plan. Ganta goes through some training with Crow, who is unbelievably strong, right? We already knew he was strong prior to these chapters, but here we really see that like dude is like kind of like a battle genius, right? So we get that training, sort of like that, you know, sort of like little mini training arc, and it's just long enough that it doesn't like get in the way of everything else. Then you know, they go about doing their thing. A bunch of like a couple of people die, right? The rock Buddhist sort of priest like dude, he dies. The rebel leader dies. Ganta sort of unlocks like a sort of like a different sort of level to like his branch of sin. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty dope. And I'm trying to remember what the last. Oh, we also like while all of this is happening, we also meet Mockingbird, who is to me like he seems like a sort of like the other half to like Shiro, where Shiro is like the wretched egg. Like Mockingbird is sort of like the other half to Shiro. I'm not sure what. I can't remember. I feel like I'm forgetting something. I feel like I'm forgetting something important in relation to Mockingbird. But the way that he's sort of presented here, he seems like a sort of another half, and like he's particularly interested in Shiro, but he's also now interested in Ganta. So I'm really interested to see where that goes. And you know, he seems to be extremely powerful because he eliminates the sort of like little girl with like monstrous strength pretty quickly. So now we have sort of all of these things happening, and that's kind of where we are. We're oh, and the rest of sort of like the rebel group, they escape to the outside world, and that's really important. And I think the inspector actually gets the data chip that they're trying to get to him. At least that's sort of what I see, because he's holding this like a data chip that looks pretty similar to the one that they were like trying to get to him. So
yep,
there's a lot of stuff that's like happening in this last chapter, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next.
Okay, that was really great recap there. So let's go through what I would like to know is like we meet a lot of new abilities again with the rebel group. What do you think? They're also the abilities of the anti-Deadman Commando, and generally like the fights there. You know, like how what do you feel about them?
The fights were handled really well, I think, and that's one thing I love about this manga is they don't like, and with that like a lot of like, you know, there's like a shonen formula to sort of like battle shonen formula to certain things when they have to drag out a battle. You know, we gotta wait like, you know, 5 chapters, you know, for the battle to end or something like that. When really the battle could end in like 2, maybe 2.5. And so here you just get like really quality battles where either like one individual is just getting like destroyed, right? It's like close to a curb stopping, but it's not, because like you know, there's that sort of resilience, and there's and the branches of sin are used in really interesting ways. I think that's something that I really love. It's like yes, like clearly they have the ability, right? The anti what you call the Deadman sort of group has the ability to nullify their attacks with their weapons. But what I love is how the mangaka sort of set that up in such a way that like, right, like we know that this is sort of a trope, right, where people describe their techniques, and that's sort of like a flaw, especially with like villains, where it's like, here's what I can do, and then here's exactly how I can do it. And it's like, why are you telling these people, like, why are you telling like the leader of the rebel like group how you can do the things you do? Because like, right, and then he immediately figures out a strategy to go against that. Like I really love that. I thought that was like awesome. That's what I kind of loved. I love that battle in particular because it sort of made fun of those sort of tropes, and it sort of went and it sort of said, okay, but no, we're not gonna go do that. We're gonna make this a really interesting battle. And I thought it was like a great battle. I mean, like the art was phenomenal. The art for the battles have been very like, man, great stuff. So I really love the battles.
Yeah, I especially like for the art and especially the part of the story for this arc, which I personally liked, was when the story with Owl, you know, Owl was the leader of the rebel troop there, and he and the stuff with his girlfriend, you know, like that stuff, because he went like batshit crazy and everything. He went all out just to get revenge, or you know, and everything. And And in the end, you know, he just gets blown a hole in his stomach or in his upper body, you know, and then I just feel so bad for him. Somehow, yeah, I don't know. I really love this part because it made me feel confused. Like my feelings were like super confused about like, yeah, man, he's like super cool, and no, he's dying, and you know, I had like those emotions like changing all the time, you know, and that's something that's why I really love this part of the arc, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that was phenomenal. I thought they did a lot there. That was also like a sort of short but substantial relationship that was working there with Owl and the guitar. I can't remember his name. I'm terrible with like names, especially when I like initially read something. But that was like really, really great. That was phenomenal because like it was like right. It was kind of similar in the way that like sort of like it was love, but not in the sort of like romantic sense, right? It was like a it was a very like particular relationship wherein the guitar dude was sort of like he loved like the way like sort of like the rage and the sort of wrath that like clearly like emanated from Owl, but it was also like he kind of saw a lot of himself in the sort of way that like Owl was killing and doing all these things. It was sort of like he made like it was like he loved Owl, but he kind of really like loved himself in a weird way. It was kind of odd. Like there was a lot going on. There was a lot going on in that sort of in the construction of it that I really, really liked. I really, really liked it. Like the way that I don't know what he injected in him. It was probably like some sort of like hallucinogen or something like that, or some sort of like something that like changes like the brain chemistry, so that certain things are suggestions are, you know, sort of like maybe it might have even been a suggestion. It might have actually been like a serum that actually like drudges up repressed memories. So like when he found out like all this other stuff that happened with his son and what was actually happening, then it was like, oh man, you know, that was rough. That was rough for me. When I saw that, I was like, how is how is it like, you know, how is he gonna get like out of this like despair and this just like pit of darkness?
Yeah,
you know? And I think what I liked was that part of it was like I think it just simply was like it was just simply that the torture was not enough. Like it wasn't like deep enough. It just wasn't strong enough. Because I think if it was just like, you know, the whole sort of like friendship speech and everything like that, I think that wouldn't have worked at all. Like he would have still been, you know, and I think in that way, like, right, you still get the friendship speech, right? And it works, but then he dies anyways.
Yeah,
you know, like I think like that's what I liked about it. It was like, yo, like he's just reached this sort of place where it's like it hurts even more because it's like he's reached a sort of place where he's like, yes, like I actually have like, you know, my light. I have my son. Like I still have like these other people who are not necessarily the sons that I had in terms of right, like the sunlight in terms of like his partner and his child, but like these friends that he cares about, that he's been working with in terms of the rebel group and everything like that. But then he dies. You know, and I think it was a powerful death. Yeah. But it really like it matters more. Because of that.
I also like when he just kind of recovered from just to for DJ me again in the chat. We are talking about Deadman Wonderland chapter 12 to 21 right now. For when the monk when Owl just recovered, you know, just kind of recovered from the friendship speech and everything, and he hugs the code captain there from the rebel group, you know, and then just the monk just arrives and just stabs her and just throw him instantly back again to losing someone again, I kind of, you know, and and then just right after like shooting him in the stomach, you know, and it's like I just kind of feel sorry for this guy, you know. It's impossible to. Yeah, man, it's For me, all this, the kind of the guitar monk and owl, everything what's going on there, like made my emotions like go crazy. It's damn, man.
No, it just worked. It just worked really well. Like I was like, man. And there was a point where I have to pull this up. There was like a on chapter 21, right? So when the new warden, right? Jerk that I want to die.
Yeah, Tamagi.
All right, yeah. And like he the Undertakers, so that's their name, right? The Undertakers, right? So when he's talking about how like the Undertakers basically like failed like the mission that they were given, and he like bangs on his desk, and there's like really interesting thing where like there's like a little like plant that falls, and it's just a really really like wonderful. I feel like it's like this artistic metaphor that's going on there. With like there's like a little guitar that falls with it. There's a sort of like sunflower that's like there, and like I thought that was like really really like great, because it like I feel like if you're just kind of like, oh, I'm reading and I'm gonna zoom, then you miss that, you miss that kind of little thing. But I thought that was like a really nice and subtle way, and like the art is so different, right? It's like here's all this beautiful sharp, wonderfully drawn sort of art, and then there's that sort of does the work in terms of portraying like that intensity of like battles and movements and stuff like that. And then there's just this little like these subtle like two panels that just do a lot like in terms of like portraying a lot, like in terms of like the metaphor, because I feel like the sunflower kind of represents, like, at least for me, the way I sort of read it was like the sunflower kind of like represented like the rebel sort of dude, and then the guitar like sort of maybe represented like guitar dude, and like they're both like dead, so they both just died, and like both of them fall to the ground. And like a lot of this has to like, and I mean it's his fault, like it's like he's upset, right? Like, and he sort of bangs his desk and he's like, how could they fail it? But it's like, dude, like you're the one that like put these people in this situation, like it's like there's a lot of stuff that's going on there in terms of metaphor that I really really like. And
I kind of felt like the guitar for me was definitely the guitar monk, of course, but I somehow felt like the sunflower somehow represented like the happy days where Deadman Wonderland was running normally to his mission, and he bangs on it because he was like the trigger for it, because he sent the commando to their mission, and he bangs on the table, and that's why the sunflower falls over. So but that's why like the happy days where everything's fine for him like kind of over now.
I like that.
And going on for the future, Deadman Wonderland maybe going to shit, maybe not, I don't know.
I mean, it's really interesting because like now, like the story sort of has to go to a place where things are going to move, right? And because like we have all these like the rebel group, they've actually like escaped, like they are out there, they're moving. They're definitely going to like do something. Like I know that they're going to be involved. They're going to impact the story in a way that's like really really awesome. And I'm looking forward to that. Like, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what they do. Because he was legit like, man, he was like, man, come on. Like something like didn't go, to plan. And like now he's like sort of like frantic in terms of producing more dead men to replace the ones that he's lost. Really, really great stuff. I just like seeing him like, razzled. Like I'm frazzled, I guess. Like I just really like seeing him like, what am I gonna do? I love that.
Yeah.
But
it's also especially because like there are now dead men outside. That's like kind of, I guess that's also why he's like super upset, because I don't think he would care about normal inmates that much. But because now there are dead men outside, and who knows what they're gonna do? And especially how I think he maybe how can I get him back, or what do I do now with the cage fights and everything? But never know yeah, it's difficult to see what they're going to do. But your take there is they will definitely impact the story more.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. I mean, like that, like I mean, maybe they don't have to. I don't know. Maybe they can just like go and hide, you know, go underground and hiding, you know, and just kind of like chill, you know, and not get found or whatever. And and for me, that would be fine because like I think like they deserve that. Like they don't have to, right? Like it's not something that they definitively have to do, but I think they want to. I think they want to save these people. They want to make sure that like other people don't have to deal with the stuff that they dealt with. They want other people to feel the freedom that they probably now feel, and being able to like sort of breathe fresh air and like go outside and do all these and look at the like sky, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. I think they're definitely going to do something. That will like lead to like either the destruction of Deadman Wonderland or maybe something even bigger, you know. So we'll see, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, so one last point which we didn't like talk about that much about now was your take for or your opinion on the future or what will happen next to Shiro, Ganta, and everyone. They're not outside, they're still there. So what do you get? What do you see?
I feel like so for Shiro, I feel like there was like it was interesting because like one thing that was really great was and I think generally works really well like often is when you have a character that sort of apparently can't feel like certain things, but then like something like just like the like emotional floodgates kind of open, and it's just a really beautiful thing. And there was one, I can't remember which chapter it was, but at the end there were just like panels where you see that progressively happen, where you see like Shiro's just like sort of emotional walls is kind of like boom, where she's just like slowly like, I'm trying to eat these cookies and like, why don't these cookies taste good? And like, why am I so sad? Why am I crying? It just works so well. And I think part of why that works so well is because again, the art is like phenomenal, right? I think in some other manga, if you saw something like that, it'd be like meh. But I think here, it just works really, really well. I can't remember which chapter it was, but it was so good. It might have been the chapter where maybe the chapter where she met Mockingbird.
Yeah, I guess it's when after Ganta was upset to her because she threw away the chip, you know, and everything. I guess.
Yeah, and like it just worked, and like I think like generally we got a lot. I think we got a lot there when in terms of Shiro, in terms of like seeing her more as a person and less of like just the wretched egg and just like a sort of plot, not a plot, but like a story device, right? Where it's like, okay, this is her sort of role within like the story, and that's how that's how we're gonna look at her. For me, what I've loved is how we sort of progressively gone from, oh, Shiro's just sort of like got her head in the clouds and she's, you know, singing random tunes and she's like, you know, a really, really cool fighter, to moving to, you know, her sort of like really working through her own emotions and her own feelings about things and about how she feels about Ganta, you know, what she wants to do, things of that nature. It's just really, really cool. And I think what I also liked was, even like, I think in the future, we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more of like Shiro, like becoming more of like her own sort of person, making particular decisions. Right. Because now like they are definitively friends, right? Both of them recognize each other as friends, as close friends. And I think now like Shiro will have sort of more like purpose, and the way that she'll sort of move throughout the story will be more like direct, I guess, as opposed to like, oh, I'm just kind of floating around and I'm just gonna happen to like, you know, pop up somewhere or whatever. I think that she'll probably be like moving around with Ganta more often than we've seen, which would be nice. And with Ganta, like I will say this, like his ability is like his ability is probably the most boring, but I think that's kind of the point. I feel like his ability is supposed to be like kind of like, oh, he can shoot a thing, you know? Like I think that's supposed to kind of be like, oh, okay, like yeah, beams are kind of like boring. Let's move away from like beams, please, and like let's look at like ways in which like the branches of sin can be like really, really cool in battle. Like so I'm looking forward to that. And I think like it kind of reminded me of no. Let me not talk about that, because some people might not have caught up to like My Hero Academia and like thinking about like the way that Deku's power sort of like that one like where like the way that Horikoshi sort of explains like Deku's progression in terms of his ability. And like with Gantam, like maybe we'll get a bit of that where like Gantam will be able to like use that sonic boom to do something a little bit different, you know, instead of just like, maybe he'll like have like, you know, rapid fire or something where all of like the shots will be as fast as the sonic boom. And then like, that would be interesting. That'd be a little different, right? Kind of like, you know, yeah.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know, so that would be cool. That would be cool. And then like in terms of like the general story, I think it would be really interesting if we saw more of the outside world, if we saw more about what's going on outside of Deadman Wonderland, because we got a glimpse of that. We got a glimpse of like, you know, sort of, I guess, Secretary of Defense or whatever you want to call him, like a sort of chief, like a military strategist, you know, visiting the prison. And then we have this other dude, this sort of inspector dude visiting the prison. I want to see more people from the outside world. I want to see more of those interactions between like Deadman Wonderland and what's going on out there. And I think that's going to be like really, really vital. And I think we'll see more of that because of that data chip that they got to the inspector guy. So we're going to see more people come to Deadman Wonderland, and it's going to be a bit hard. It's going to be progressively harder for the warden to like sort of keep those people at bay. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. And I feel like now I'm not so sure where the story's going to go in terms of like sort of the games that they usually play, like the carnival games and stuff. I think that should be interesting because I haven't seen a lot of that like recently, and I think maybe we'll see, you know, a reintroduction of that like abruptly moving forward. That'll be cool. That'd be cool. I'd like to see another like battle between some dead men. That'd be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that sums everything up there. There are some interesting opinions.
But yeah.
So yeah, should we change now for Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yep.
Okay, so let me get a recap. We had like a small arc where basically the world from Yu Yu Hakusho didn't move forward. We just had some character development. So we had the kind of generic arc where just here's some threat, something evil. We need to fight it now. Go there and fight it, you know. So basically, there's some worms. Even so, it was super interesting. It was not the basic plot was generic, but the worms itself, they are taking over people, and you know they are controlled with flute, the zombie worm flute or whatever. That was super interesting. So Botan she noticed it, and she sends Yusuke to the how the name was, the Mace Castle or something. Yeah, exactly. And sends him there. And by the way, I thought it was super funny when Kuwabara says, "Yeah, I can join too." Wait, you can see me? You always heard me? You know, she only notices now that he actually has powers, you know. But yeah, so they go, Kuwabara and Yusuke just go there, and they meet with Hiei and Kurama, yeah, and just decide, let's hang out together and beat up the bad guys. So for me, it was like, I don't know if it's like, I guess they will be like the kind of main group, these four, and with Botan and maybe the girl, I forgot the name again. So I guess that's like the main group for the whole group. For future, maybe there's some more joining or something. And yeah, they just beat up. Yeah, there are four good people, 4 bad guys. Let's have each one a fight, I guess, and then basically the arc's over. So we have like first one was Kurama against the stone guy, which was like a cool fight, but it kind of showed more of Kurama's strength, because before, when we met him first time, he and Yusuke didn't fight, so difficult to see how strong he was. So he had like a first introduction to his powers and which power level he is at. So that was kind of interesting. And the whip was super cool because he could smell the enemy, because the room was filled with rose smell, I guess, and he could smell the enemy better. Yeah,
smell like roses.
Yeah, so that's why he could find them. So because the other one was inside the stones. Second one was for me the most interesting. I guess that was Gyakko, the tiger dude, against Kuwabara, because it was I guess it was the longest one, because we had multiple stages where first Kuwabara was fighting against the 4 dogs there, where he pinned them on around the tower, you know. It's super sad, but smart from him, you know, to go to a more smaller area to attack them all at once. Then we had the fight where he overfilled them, you know, like kind of for me this was all comedy for the comedy's sake, because Kuwabara seems to be the main comedy guy of the group there. And then we had the lava pit, I guess it was lava pit, where he was jumping and the tiger was like destroying the platforms, you know. Kind of made me remember of like some video game, you know, just platforming from one platform to the other until you arrive at the boss. And Jordan, he just kicked him inside the lava and survived. And then we had like Shiryu, who seemed like the most powerful and most cruel one, but he got one shot by Hiei. Which was, of course, there was a lot of, even so the fight was nothing, just a one-shot move. Hiei made, I guess, the most character development there, because Kurama always explained to Yusuke in the back, like, yeah, he's just getting attracted by you, and you know, and he was questioning the other ones, like, why do you fight for other people and everything, you know. He's questioning the motives of Yusuke, I guess, and Kuwabara, and he like turns to a good guy. And the last one was I forgot the name.
Suzaku,
yeah. So yeah, he was interesting. We had like Yusuke, who was after the training got a whole lot of power up, and the ray gun was crazy strong. And he also had like you thought, like kind of like Ganta, where you went to, or like with the multi-shot with the shotgun, you know. So so because I don't know, this kind of thing was boring for me. Not boring, but especially this fight was because the shotgun was introduced before, when he used it at something.
Oh yeah, like against like those like zombified kind of like
yeah. So it was previewed there. So I thought, yeah, okay, probably this is going to be the next weapon against the next boss. You know? And exactly as it comes, he splits himself up into 7 guys, and he can use the shotgun to defeat him. You know, like that's just the outcome was like kind of there.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah,
kind of. I was kind of disappointed in only this point. But Suzaku itself was really a great bad guy for me, for like an early arc, and kind of a low importance arc, because like he was a real threat to Yusuke, because like we all the time he had Botan and the girl, his love interest, like fighting the zombies and escaping the zombies, and it was almost too late, like super close on that they were being stabbed or something by the teacher, especially because the teacher was zombified. It was super scary. But so that's why like there was like real stakes there for Yusuke personally, not for the world but for him personally, and that's why I thought Suzuko was a good bad guy. Yeah. Then he defeats them and his Botan and the girl, and yeah, we just kind of know, yeah, you shouldn't go alone. You should tell me about it when you go. And yeah, that was, I guess, the last 2 or 3 pages.
Gotcha. I would say I think that's one of the, and I mean generally, I think the anime does a really great job. At some point, I would say after the next arc that you read, after that, definitely check out like the anime episodes, the equivalent anime episodes, because I think the anime does a really great job at like adding like a sort of more of like a sense of not even danger, but just like emotional sort of attachment to like scenes and things that are happening and stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually already watched the anime until this arc. You know, I was talking about I'm doing the streams with you to my fiance, and she really likes Yu Yu Hakusho, and so she suggested to watch the anime. So we watched it, and I just told you, no, I will just watch until the point where I read. You know, I will not watch further. So we were waiting until the next stream happens, I guess. And yeah, that's why I probably will start again soon, so to watch the anime, because I really like the anime. Also from the stories which I already saw, the anime is like a really good job to describe it. Because I think like for now I would rate the animes kind of higher. I don't know, maybe because I don't know if Togashi was like one of his first stories where he actually had because the action is like kind of, I don't know, slow. Maybe slow is a good word, because the pictures are really slow, or the panels, and the action is kind of described slowly. But not that it's not good, but yeah, that makes the action like kind of you know, like, and that's why the moving animation is like does a really great job at that. You know, it's like the slowness of the manga is like kind of cut out from because of the animation, you know. Yeah. So, but I guess like Togashi is like stepping up in the course in the course of Yu Yu Hakusho story. You know, I guess it will become better in the action department there.
Yeah, I definitely like. I agree with that. Like, I feel like Togashi definitely like. Well, I mean, like it steps up. That's what I will say. I will say that like the action definitely steps up in terms of like the manga and the anime, but particularly the manga. Because yeah, I agree that like it's, you know, you're kind of just like, okay, here's some stuff, especially if you've already read you know, like if you read Hunter x Hunter before Yu Yu Hakusho, then it's like okay, Togashi, like this is cool, but like where's like that stuff, right? And for me, like it makes sense that like, you know, you know, he's learned from Yu Yu Hakusho and learned sort of how to like construct like the beginnings of like a battle shonen manga, right, and the pacing and everything like that. Because I feel like the pacing in Hunter x Hunter for the manga is far in a way better than the pacing for Yu Yu Hakusho. With Yu Yu Hakusho, it's more like, right, not even the pacing, but just like the that, but more so the substance, I guess, in a certain way. Like the substance in like the beginning for like there's like a combination of like substance and pacing that's really well done with Hunter x Hunter in terms of the manga. Because when you're reading the manga, it's like you move very quickly through the, like the Hunter exam is like a blur. It's like boom, 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 boom. And then you you move through that, like all that stuff happens very, very quickly. And then you move into like the next stuff. I mean, you caught up with Hunter x Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's like that. So it moves very quickly. I remember like distinctly reading the Hunter x Hunter manga, and I was like, this stuff moves fast. The battles don't last particularly long.
I guess I feel like if you compare now to Hunter x Hunter, it's like the fluency. Like Hunter x Hunter is way more fluent because we have like some major big goal there, you know, going trying to be a hunter and get the license and finding its father. You know, there's always something greater there, but that's missing here somewhat. You know, before we had like, yeah, Yusuke wanted to get his body back, but now he has it back, but what's his goal now? You know, it's just like Botan. Yeah, I have a mission for you. Just go there. You know, and there's nothing greater to the thing. You know, that's why I said like this arc is maybe good for the character development, but for the world itself, it's not really particularly interesting or important. You know, and that's kind of the difference we have here. And yeah, that's why I think he made it better in Hunter x Hunter, because it was maybe not the best here. But I guess when I just imagine about what's going to happen is like we will get something for the greater world outside of just Yusuke and Keiko. That's what her name, and we will get maybe something more. Then the fluency will maybe be better. But yeah, I guess from what you said before, after we still have one, and then it gets better. You told, and from the last panel where Enma Jr. is on the desk, and which mission can I get him? Which one is difficult? You know, like I guess we will get one more kind of like this arc. Like, oh yeah, here, do something there, and then maybe after that it will be more world development, I guess.
Yeah, I think like Yu Yu Hakusho is one of those manga where like when you look back on it, certain things make sense. Like part of it is like, yes, certain things make sense in terms of like storytelling and stuff like that. In terms of getting like a particular point across, and even like for character development and stuff. But like, I still feel like, you know, yes, this is clearly like Togashi's sort of like real, like first like run at like a supremely popular battle shonen manga where it's like, okay, like I have to like keep the reader's interest, like I have to do particular things, but at the same time, like I want to do all these other things and I want to tell these kinds of stories and I want to like tackle these themes and stuff like that. I think like just like it's coming, like the like boom, like that it's coming. Just like sort of like find solace in that, I guess.
I'm not. You know? I'm not like feeling bad anything about Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm really into the series. You know.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just like this is like the points I kind of have like to be critical about. You know, like the fluency is missing. We have no goal. But I'm into the series. But just saying like, I know why it feels like slow and why it feels no. But I know I will see about it, what will happen, and see if it will be solved or not. But yeah, just addressing the problems there. But
I also like. How do you feel about like how do you feel about the dynamic, like in terms of like the group, like because you sort of mentioned like, oh, now like it kind of seems like they're like this the core four like fighters, like that's going to be like a group that like you'll probably see like moving on, like you know, it has that like vibe, right? Like yours, you know, like Yusuke, Kutabara, Hiei, and Kurama. We're gonna see them like a lot more often. How do you see their that like not only the like how do you see like that group dynamic helping like the characters like develop as a whole? Like how do you see that happening? Like where do you feel like how do you feel like Togashi will kind of like tackle, let's say, Hiei or a Kurama?
Kind of a difficult question there, but let me try. So I kind of see if I see what kind of development I imagine is like, I kind of see Yusuke and Hiei maybe developing in like kind of Sanji Zoro dynamic, where they are compete like here they just get warm to each other. You know, Yusuke was already now opening because at the beginning when they were trapped, you know, he already just opened freely without any doubt to Hiei and said, "Yeah, you're the fastest. Go hit the switch, and then you'll save us." You know, and so instantly trusted him, and Hiei like kind of didn't understand, and over the arc like opened more and was questioning and learning about them, about the human I don't know, actions, I guess. And I guess they will like start to in the direction where they will be like rival friends, you know, when I don't know, it's kind of difficult because they will be like comparing. I guess they both will be like the two strongest guys of the group, and it will always be like, yeah, Zoro Sanji or Zoro or Zoro Luffy, like the main guy and the second mate, the second strongest guy of the group, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, but like yeah, I see him like a lot like Zoro, because he's like silent and he doesn't say anything. He just says his sentences, but Kurama explains them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's just like super strong guy. But he will, I guess he will open and be like there, and I guess their goal will match and they will hang out more, I guess. And for Kurama, I don't know, he was already open from the start, and I never saw him as an enemy or anything. It's just like now he got some power level, like I said before, but he already has his bonds with humans because his mother or adoptive mother was human, and if I remember correctly, and yeah, so he's kind of already open to them, and yeah, Kurama will be like comic relief, I guess, for the series, or I don't know, but yeah. So I kind of feel like the dynamic overall, they will grow more together and bond together because of like getting the same goals, and not like just, oh, yo, Yusuke needs help, I will join him, but like their goals will maybe cross more, and then they just stay together, you know, like we'll always take our evil ways, so let's just move on together, you know.
I gotcha.
That's kind of what I feel. It's like difficult to, because like this was like super, the world is not developed yet, you know. We don't know anything more about the demon world. We just knew about Enma's place, and now we had the Dark Maze, but everything in the demon world basically is unknown. Is there a king? Is there a leader of the demon world? Does he want to take over the human world? Does he? No, we know nothing at all, and that's why it's difficult to see where will the group go, you know, because there is no overall goal.
Gotcha.
If we had something like that, or if there is something which will get there, I guess we see the goals cross and they just stick together. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Those are sort of like questions. Like when I like started with the Yu Hakusho, I definitely had like questions about that. I was like, okay, this is like this, you know, this stuff is like cool. This is interesting. Especially because I started with the anime first. So I was like, so it was in some ways a little bit easier to kind of just be like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this action. The anime does a really great job with adapting the manga in that way. And yeah, but still, it's like, yo, like what's going on over here? What's the stuff? Like, is it always sort of going to be like Yusuke just you know, sort of looking like he's going to school, and then something happens, and then he's pulled away from school, and like I don't know. Those are kind of questions that I had. Like when are we gonna get that boom expansion? In terms of Yu Hakusho. So I definitely like I feel you on that. And like I feel like that's like that was kind of how I felt about like Hunter x Hunter. You know, because like Hunter x Hunter has a similar thing where it's like, yeah, like, you know, generally like they're like, you understand that there's a lot of people out there, but you already know that because it's like they live on a planet, and like there are a lot of people on planets, you know, with like human beings. So it's like, yes, okay, we understand that. Like, but the thing is like, what's going on in those like either countries or realms or, you know, dimensions or whatever. Like, what's happening there? What's the relationship between these like different places? That's stuff that like I feel like Hunter x Hunter sort of like slowly does at first, and then just like it does it in a way that's like neat and sort of like a kind of steady progression. Like it's like, you know, we definitely meet more people, but like it's always like, oh, here's a city. Here's a person from this place. and then here's this family that's like really well known, you know, around the world or whatever, you know, and then like slowly but surely the story just like uses those things to like right, and those stories to sort of like branch out into like, you know, randomly like mention something that we will definitely like, you know, probably hear about later on or see later on. So I mean, I think it's coming. Like we'll like, you know, we'll see stuff. But you know, whether or not like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Hunter x Hunter, like we had like in the beginning we had Hunter. This is a hunter. Gon's father was a hunter. Gon wants to get the license, and there we go. Then we had like how many chapters were until he gets his license? You know, it's like already these 2 or 3 sentences or whatever had like a really big impact on how the world was explained. You know, we don't need about how many countries and how it worked and who's king and whatever and where is Gon's village. You know, we just have like the world of Hunter explained. What does the hunter do, and what are they there for, and you need a license. Good, okay, and then you had everything covered for the whole Hunter license arc, you know, and then then we add more, and then we go through that, and we add more, and we go through that. You know, that's kind of how I see Hunter x Hunter moving forward. And yeah, I guess that's how that's completely missing here for now. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to talk about in terms of like the story, Yu Yu Hakusho as a whole, where you would definitely like it to go? Like, is there something that you're like, I want to see this, I definitely want to see this, I definitely want to see that? Like,
okay, I want to meet the real big Enma, not Enma Junior. I hope we'll get to see him someday, and kind of see the boss of the underworld, I guess. And also, I would like to. I think the human world is kind of boring, or nothing for the story. Since we move into other realms and other dimensions, I guess, like the underworld and the demon world and everything, the human world is just boring. And I would like to get the demon world more developed, and like I told before, like get some really big bad guy, like to who's want to take over the demon world, some rebel whatever group there, or I don't know, something big and evil. I want to something introduced, which will be, I don't know, a goal for later, or where not even like introduced in a way where here's not a bad guy, you need to someday you need to fight him, but more like you know, when in other mangas there's always like when you see the bad guy's point of view when they plan something, but the heroes never get into contact with these people. You know, you just see the like for you, Deadman Wonderland, when we see the stuff about the Red Jack and Shiro, you know, Ganta never sees those things, but maybe kind of that way where we get to see some development in some part where evil is dwelling, and and then someday you scan the group will just cross there and see, oh no, this is bad, we need to fight this thing. I guess that's something I would like to see and would think maybe it will be good there.
Yeah.
But after first, I guess we get one more generic arc, I guess.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing. Like for me, like I will say this. I feel like this is like such a like old like I would like I wouldn't say like I was about to say that it feels like an old school kind of thing to do, right? Where it's like, let's slowly build this stuff and let's have some little things, and then let's like do like a really like intense like ramping up of either pacing, world building, sense of danger, battle, stuff like that. And like but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like even some of like the older stuff, like around the time that Yu Yu Hakusho was coming out, still did like, still had like okay pacing and like still like, you know, did things that were pretty cool and that kept you interested. You know, and that's not to say that Yu Yu Hakusho doesn't do that at all. I just think that like the sort of beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho, sorry, that was a timer, but like the beginning of Yu Yu Hakusho really kind of like is an example of a manga that takes its time. That it's sort of like, okay, this is, you know, we're gonna do a little bit here, a little bit there. We're gonna feel out the water. It's almost like, you know, like if someone's like, oh, I'm gonna put my my toes in the water to feel like if it's like too cold or too hot or something like that. As opposed to like, okay, let's just go. Let's do let's do what we want to do, and let's go. Ready. Like the manga, like I would kind of compare it to like Dr. Stone. Like if you read Dr. Stone, like Dr. Stone's kind of like that. It starts off kind of like, nah, it's a little generic. It's a little like the science of the stuff is cool, but like generally like it's a little generic. It does certain things that I'm like, it needs to step up. And then when it steps up, it's like, wow, like it steps up.
Yeah.
You know? Like I would say if I had to compare Yu Hakusho to a manga, it would be Dr. Stone. Like honestly. It's a manga, like both of them do some like interesting, like do some, you know, generally cool things. Like they're generic in certain ways. But then when the mangaka are like, okay, I have the ability to do what I want right now, I can like, then they just go. And it's like really, really awesome. It's really, really awesome. That's why I always tell people like, yo, if you're reading Dr. Stone, like keep going. You know, if you want to drop it, I'm not gonna blame you. But you should keep going because
yeah, that's true. No, but I guess that's all something I kind of feel like that's just how mangas were back then. You know, it's like slower starts and kind of like we told, like just putting the toe in first and seeing what do the people like, because there was not like, I guess the Jump magazine didn't have like maybe it was not like defined like nowadays. I don't know. It's difficult. I think it's super unfair to compare series. You actually the series nowadays. I don't know, because now it's like starts with super action packed already stuff, you know, and yeah, I don't know. It's like for me, it's like definitely feel for an older manga like Senseiya or anything. We were all at the time, they were all the same, to be slower and everything, and also just like the art, it's like old art. You can see it's like older style, and it's just like it's normal that like in the time of Shonen Jump itself that people are just improving. You know, all new mangaka who get the series, they want to stay in the magazine, so they already start at the highest level possible. So probably topping off the older ones who were before mangaka. You know, it's like getting better and better at everything, and also not only the art but also story like, you know, because when I don't know in the 70s or 80s, you know, there was not that much of to see or copy about. But now when you start a manga now, you already have a lot of material from just Shonen Jump about how to make a story and how to make it stick to the people and everything, you know. So you don't need to put your toe in the water. You can just jump in, but you just need to decide where you want to jump in, you know. So I guess that's why I feel kind of unfair to compare it to nowadays. But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, and like I probably like I would say, yeah, generally right, like Yu Yu Hakusho is not like I probably shouldn't have said like, okay, like this is like a perfect example, because like it's like a lot of this like other manga were doing similar things, right? Like people you know, people even like who are like the biggest fans of One Piece like complain that like, you know, it starts off kind of slowly and like it doesn't really sort of kick off until like until a particular point, and that particular point isn't even like widely like agreed upon. It's like some people are like, hey, you know, One Piece really kicks off in Arlong Park, and some people are like, no, One Piece really kicks off in Baratei like arc with like Sanji and like stuff like that. And some people feel like even further
Baroque
back,
works later, or
you
don't know, yeah. But yeah, no,
so
I know what you. It's always different, but I guess what Yu Hakusho was, or was, I guess, in the timeline, was like kind of one of the manga who helped to define Shonen Jump manga or Shonen mangas in the magazine, where it went like a long time. It ran a long time, and the style and everything. Many people copied a lot about it. What you actually probably did later in the story, kind of, and people just copied and did it earlier in their story, So because it was good. So that's kind of, I feel that's why I don't care about what Yu Yu Hakusho or is doing wrong now, because I know it for me it's 100% a great series. For me, it's just like, when will it happen? When will I be like all in?
Gotcha. All right. So we will end it here.
Yep.
That was pretty good. I think generally that's something we can do. We can have like just like a solid like hour, maybe a little like a little bit over an hour, because the conversation will go where it goes. But I think like generally for these streams, I think we'll probably try to like do like an hour where it's like 30 minutes we'll spend on one, 30 minutes we'll spend on another, roughly. And yeah, so that was really awesome.
Yeah.
I am
Thanks
really
again for having me in the stream.
Nah, no problem. It's always awesome to have you. It's always awesome to have you.
Thanks,
I really enjoy these discussions because, like, again, like one thing for me is like it's not enough to just like read the manga that I'm looking at to read the manga, but it's like I want to talk about the stuff. Like I want to be like, hey, like I read this thing, it was awesome. Let me like I want to talk about it with someone else who's also like read the stuff and finds it like phenomenal, or maybe they don't like it or whatever. Like I just love the discussion. Discussion's great because it allows me to think about the opinions, like your opinions, others' opinions, and like how do those things affect like my own the ways in which I view the stuff that I'm reading. So it's always it's always just a good time. So it's just a fun time. So
that's true. All discussing is always awesome. So
yep. All right. So I'm gonna
many more.
No, yeah. So I'm gonna end it here because I think I have another stream that's coming up at 4, and I also just gotta get ready for that in a little bit. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be like again like episode 2 of this sort of all woman stream / panel discussions that I'm doing, and I really want to get up. It's gonna be pretty dope. It's gonna be on Manga Publishing. That's gonna be a really, really, really dope stream.
Definitely check it out.
Cool. It's gonna
maybe not live, but I would definitely check it out.
No, yeah. It's gonna be pretty awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna add it to the playlist that I've set up already. So you can watch both episodes 1 and 2 there. It'll be pretty cool. There are gonna be some like really, really, really brilliant, smart, knowledgeable, and well informed, and just like cool like women there. I'm not gonna be talking or anything like that. I'm just gonna like moderate. I'm just gonna make sure that like they get to talk about what they want to talk about, get their points across, stuff like that. This is real. That's just really just like a place to say like, hey, here's a space where you can talk about these things. Get your voices out there in a different way, reach a different demographic, and like show your stuff and like have people find out who you are, make connections, everything like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. And and for the viewers, like the viewers can learn a lot about this stuff because I think a lot of them, some of them do. Some of them, like I think a lot of like myself, like and stuff like that, and people that watch the channel know a lot about this stuff, but like a lot of people do not. Like they, so I think like this is gonna be to me like a pretty important episode. So I'm really looking forward to it. That's probably gonna be like about 45 minutes. It's not gonna be particularly long because one of the panelists needs like to make sure that Anissa has some stuff. She's got to make sure that like she's on it. Her schedule is pretty booked. She's I think to me a pretty big deal. So I'm just glad to have her on the channel on the channel.
Okay, that's great.
All right, so I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank all of you for coming through. Shout out to to anybody that came out. And be back. I would say next Saturday. Next Saturday I should be fine. Like I shouldn't have a problem. Like I'm kind of like in a groove. Work is like in a place where like now I'm like okay, like I'm busy, but like I know that generally I want to do these streams on either Saturdays or Sundays. So I would say, you know, like, be on the lookout for it. I will, you know, like Nakamanga and I will talk about it. Maybe it'll be Saturday, maybe it'll be Sunday. We don't know. We don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, sure.
But come through when we're back. All right. And also remember to check out our Reborn discussion streams. Those are pretty dope. We'll probably have more in the future. Maybe there'll be some more people that join. All right. So once again, I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank y'all for coming through. Thank you for watching this video. You know, feel free to sub to Nakamanga's channel. I am going to actually, Nakamanga, can you like link your channel in the live chat? Because now YouTube allows you to like put the live chat on the side, like even if it's not a live stream. So they'll be able to see your channel in that live chat. But I'll also make sure to put your channel in the other like videos for that that playlist. So that when people come through, they'll see your channel and they'll be able to subscribe and everything like that. But yeah.
Let me just get it straight. Damn, my browser's not working.
No, it's cool. Don't worry about it. All right. So yeah. All right. Cool. So okay. So once again, I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank you for coming through. Nakamanga, again, it's awesome to have you on this channel. It's awesome to like.
Thanks up, man.
No problem, man. All right. And we're out of here.